I've told you already, I don't go in for that kind of thing. I've got more important matters to attend.
Oh, but this event has commemorative significance. The church hopes that all sisters will be present.
Hopes? That's odd, because I don't recall a fulfill the hopes of others clause in my job description.
I mean, sure, but...
But what? You're the event organizer, aren't you? Do you...
What do you mean?
This far out from Mondstadt at this hour? Even if you set out right now, I'll wager you'd still miss the opening ceremony. Who knows? Maybe this is someone's grand plan to make a fool out of you.
Huh? Well, that can't be. People aren't like that.
Evidence decides what people are like, not your feelings. Don't fret. Nobody's gonna blame you if you go back empty-handed. I can't imagine anyone else was delusional enough to think I was... But if you dally any longer, you really won't make it.
You're right. It's a very important commemorative event. If I'm late, then... right, I've gotta get going.
Seems like that nun's an expert in making people believe it.
I thought I heard something. Who are you and why are you eavesdropping?
We'd better watch out. She seems like a dangerous villain.
Oh, really? I'm a member of the long-standing Favonius Church. You're an eavesdropping pixie from who knows where. And you think I'm the
Wait, she heard that? Paimon was whispering so quiet.
And as for this outlander you seem to be following... So it's you, the honorary knight that saved us from Storm Terror. Well then, given your status, I won't press you on your reasons for eavesdrop. Otherwise, depending on your answer, I could have arrested you on the spot.
What? Do the nuns of Mondstadt have the authority to arrest people now?
We can't go turning a blind eye to hidden dangers, can we? Why shouldn't sisters have a sense of justice?
That doesn't sound right. But Paimon can't think of a good comeback.
Let's talk about you. What are you doing in the mountains? If it's him you're after, I made a point of noting his tracks. Many people have made their way up after the snowstorm. Let's hope they're still there.
So, are you also looking for him?
No, this is just a professional habit of mine. I sensed elemental traces in these tracks. I couldn't care what you think. Come on then. I'd like to see what he's up to anyway.
Rosaria said there were elemental traces in the tracks. They should show up pretty clearly with elemental sight.
Another... I got careless. Picked the wrong...
You know, little pixie, your ability to appear and disappear at will is very interesting.
Yeah?
After committing a crime, you'd be able to leave the scene without a trace.
It's getting colder and colder. Rosaria, aren't you freezing?
Me? I'm all right. I got used to operating in adverse conditions a long time ago.
Seems like there's more to being a nun in the Favonius Church than Paimon realized.
The word on the street is he loves sketching. He'll hang around anywhere for a good landscape. The views and scenery here are pretty good. Sketches everywhere you look.
But can't he see those hilichurls? Uh-oh. Looks like we startled them. Enough talk. Let's take them out of the picture first.
Who are you? Why did you alarm them? Thank the gods I'd already completed my sketch. Would have been a shame to leave these particular hilichurls.
What's up with sketching hilichurls? What makes them so interesting?
I'm afraid the answer isn't easy to explain. If you'd like to have a look at my sketch, it may give you a clue.
Wow, look at the detail! But some of it seems to have been done in a hurry.
You can find these hilichurls anywhere. Quite boring, in fact. Not worth closer inspection. But take a look at this specimen. The build, the coat, and there's a distinct force at work here. In the cyclical lives of such primitive communities, such unique attributes are an indication of evolution.
Hold your horses. Something tells me we're in for a thesis and I haven't got... We found your man. I'm headed back.
What? Don't you have any questions for him? What a weirdo.
So Sister Rosaria brought you. Surprising. And I didn't have time to thank her. But back to the point. From her words, it seems that you...
We met a girl in Mondstadt, Sucrose. She said you were stuck with your research.
I see. So Sucrose sent you here. Then, if I'm not mistaken, you must be the honorary knight. You've got the whole of my... I've heard a bit of everything. Your actions during Storm Terror's attack, your elemental control. I'll skip to the conclusion. There's only one possibility after all. You came from afar. Excellent. If I could procure your assistance, I think my research would be... Forgive me. This must be confusing.
Whoa. You want to start with that?
You're right. Giving a demonstration would be, for example, awakening life. Breathing new life into fallen leaves.
You can do that?
However, I have a particular seed in my possession. The method I'm talking about. It's like you, in that it hails from another world, helping it to grow.
Well, if you're struggling to figure it out,
I beg to differ. I'm unable to comprehend the... But you're not from the known world. By observing and researching you...
Shall we just get out of here? This sounds a little freaky.
Mora, knowledge, and the answer to the question you are seeking. Time for a change of surroundings.
Albedo and that traveler seem to have hit it off. Takes a weirdo to know one, I guess. I wonder, does this constitute a risk to Mondstadt?
Will it grow into...
I don't know, but I feel the importance will lie in the method. Using alchemy to awaken otherworldly life into that would constitute a big leap in my after awakening. Even creation may be possible. Still,
No, Paimon's got a brain. But what's the seed gonna become? Isn't that more interesting?
Well, if it turns out to be a delicious fruit, dinner...
Yay! Paimon's holding you to it.
Well, let's just say I, occasionally have to look after a child. The subject of how you're able to freely manipulate elemental power. Firstly, do you have any extra organs? A second heart? A fourth stomach? Things of... Fascinating. And this floating child is...
What a stupid question. Can't you see the gap between us? And another thing, it's Paimon, not floating child.
I was merely considering the possibility that you were an external organ. Perhaps there is some invisible force connecting you. Oh, that rules out that possibility. I wonder... But that would mean that Paimon's elemental power would be enough to break through a mountain rock at least 10 meters thick, or cause the waterfall south of Springville to flow back. No, that definitely...
Hey! How would you know anyway?
In that case, it would appear that there's no obvious difference between the composition of your... Given that there's clearly a discrepancy in our research. Firstly, this mysterious elemental power. Let me lure a few slimes to the area. Perhaps you'd be...
Huh? Doesn't seem very sciencey.
Direct and clear observation are imperative to a good experiment. Naturally, if you require a greater challenge, we could bring in 6 Oceanids.
Slimes! Slimes are fine.
Well, prepare yourself. The slime... Great work. Did you feel anything out of the ordinary? If you're injured, I have a few emergency potions ready. Excellent. According to my observations, the manifestation... Now that we...
Internal flow? How do you
It's very simple. If the elemental power is stored or accumulated physically within your body...
Sounds kinda terrifying.
Don't worry. In the normal course of events, you'd feel some temporary queasiness. No bodily injury.
And in the...
If anything unexpected occurs, I've made... Well, it's not that there aren't any... Just a warning. If an internal elemental reaction... Yes, that's an excellent way to think about it. Before we get started, the potion we'll use for the test is missing a catalyst. It's a type of ore known as star silver. But unfortunately, not all of it is... I'll take you to my campsite. We can gather some star silver ore on the way. All going to plan. We should...
Paimon's still got a few safety concerns. Let's keep our eyes open.
Here. Should do for catalyst purposes. This one. Usable with a bit of polish. What luck. This should be enough. My campsite is just up ahead. I'll lead the way. This is my campsite. I've added the materials we collected. While we are waiting, have a look over here. My assistant Timaeus here is helping me with my research. I'm guessing you may have met in
Hello! I've just gotten hold of the data from your experiment. The report is already up.
Whoa! Look at all the data! You got all these results from...
I wouldn't call them results, inferences, and I think the most rational direction would be to expound on the phylogenetic relationship between this traveler and the slimes. Consider. You don't have a vision, but you can manipulate elemental energy. The slimes don't have visions either. Following this line of thought, I'm sure...
Not bad for a point of entry. But strictly speaking, slimes are elemental life forms. A cryoregis is fine, or in that sense, things might get difficult, don't you think?
Yes, sir. That sounds correct.
After all, we've got our primary data already. If it turned out that he did have a
it would. Apologies. I was so excited to get the... Speaking of data, to complete our research, we'll need...
Great. I'll leave you to it. Looks like the potion's ready. I'll try a little first. In line with my expectations. Ready to drink. Remember to keep calm at all times, and breathe deeply if you feel unwell.
Tasty? You've got a funny look on your face. You said you tried some already. You sure it was ready? What happened to him?
Oh, this was the result I was expecting. And a very positive one at that. This potion channels elemental power into the body, under normal circumstances. But if the internal elemental flow is unimpeded, you'll only experience momentary discomfort.
So you knew you'd be sick and still drank some?
It was my own concoction, of course. Only natural for me to be... But of course, you're my assistant. By all sense and reason, it would be wrong. In conclusion, I'd say we have our conclusion.
Aw, Paimon wanted something cooler to happen.
Then again, better an ordinary result than a peculiar result. The good thing about ordinary is that everything is an object of reference. People are the same, they can understand, empathize, encourage, and when you're sick, a doctor can diagnose you because they are you. But a peculiar person, they don't have much recourse for the things we... For example, a human can't understand the life of a pyro... To sum up, this has been... Timaeus, the results of the new experiment are out. If you could see...
Just a moment, sir. I'll handle it. Having you down as an animal...
Not bad. I think it's an interesting line of inquiry.
You can count on me, sir. I'll extract a result satisfactory...
Is he trying to join the Knights? He's starting to sound like a suck... what?
back. Did you see anything interesting? Not to worry. They're all for alchemical purposes. You'd be, well, on with the research. There may be significant differences between different worlds. Take Tevat, for example. Here, those with visions can... But worlds may well exist where only one person... So, leaving elements to one side, I think answering this question calls for the same methodology as last... No. You shan't be required. Now, see this pillar here? Use your willpower to try and break it.
You think Paimon knows how to do that stuff?
That was your best effort? Have you tried using your elemental power with food? I'm curious to see how the taste and texture respond. It may... Anyway.
Cooking? Paimon was looking forward to more mad science.
Not only is this recipe a staple for me, it's also worth experimenting with.
Paimon bets you're just hungry. That does sound yummy, though. Okay, Paimon approves. Good buddies are always on the same page.
I'll leave you to it then. Looking forward to the result. If there's anything left over, maybe Timaeus...
Paimon doesn't think we'll have that problem. How are we gonna channel elemental power into the foods? Maybe try the willpower thing again. Where does it get these ideas from anyway?
That was fast. An average outcome experimentally, but you've really brought out the flavor. You seem well versed in the science of gastronomy, as far as the proliferation hypothesis is concerned, unless...
We just didn't know how to channel elemental power into the food.
Not to worry. At least we put some food to good use. No need. And here's your portion. Enjoy. I can box it up if you like.
Woohoo! Thanks! Glad you were paying attention.
I can tell that you're good friends. Paimon... Not that Paimon would have...
Hey! You were being nice a second ago. But you do have tasty recipes, so Paimon forgives you. And you're right, we are good friends. You have good friends too, right? Good students?
Yes. I'm fortunate too, I suppose. Anyway, moving on to the next experiment. There are all manner of alchemical items here. Keeping them in their proper place is a challenge at the best of times. A while ago, I had the misfortune of misplacing a batch. I managed to retrieve the majority, but 2 vials have been evading me. Animal crystal fly elemental extract.
Paimon's barely finished eating, and you want us to go gathering again?
Don't worry if you can't locate them. I was planning to replace them anyway. If you had, say, I must have dropped them somewhere in the area.
So, guess we'd better take a look. Oh, yeah! You could use elemental sight! This must be electrohypostasis powder. The extract of an animo crystal fly can only be animo elemental energy, right?
Goodness, you managed to find them. Incredible. I'm wondering, this elemental sight, this is what allowed you to locate the...
Yep. Guess it does sort of count as a super...
Unfortunately, though elemental sight is seldom seen, it is only a never-before-seen otherworldly power.
You mean we failed again?
Don't be disheartened. This falls entirely within my expectations. I have to commend your deduction. Right then. Up until now, our research has focused on your otherworldly identity. In essence, the differences between humans are reflected in our intellectual... Looking out from where we're standing, can you see what Sucrose is doing? And if you jumped from here and landed on that cliff, the one over there, so what about if you planted a single blow on the mountain face here, and it burst into 1,000,000 fragments? Then I shouldn't get too excited. I know of a location that will be perfect for a physical test. Please, follow me.
You want us to jump from...
Not necessarily. Not if you know of a better method, that is. Whichever method you choose, the experiment will end when you reach the opposite shore of the lake. I will factor the time expended and your top...
The opposite side of...
Without limitations, some of us would be unable to stand the icy waters. No matter what choice you make, it's all a part of the experiment. For me, then if you would, please, I eagerly await...
Wait a minute. While we're busy testing, what exactly are you gonna be doing?
Me? Recording data, responding to risks, providing, emotional support.
So if we do decide to go swimming, you gonna dive in with us?
No. Unless you're thinking of conducting competitive research?
Oh! Forget Paimon said anything.
Great work. I've never seen a performance quite... Your reputation precedes you, traveler.
But you followed us the whole way without breaking a sweat!
Me? Actually, I used alchemy to cheat a little. But anyway, if it turns out that if the natural laws of Tevat do affect you, the innumerable
But how does this help your
You've helped me to unravel many of the problems that were holding it back. I may be about gold, petrified the essence... I'm willing. All these things that start out as objects of fascination.
Oh, so that's why you wanted...
Precisely. To quote my exact words from earlier.
So after all these experiments, are we...
Of course not. Now, before we head back, follow me. There are some other ruins nearby.
Freeze! Keep back!
I imagine you must have encountered more than a few conundrums. I'd like to observe your intelligence by means of a practical test. I'd like you to There are two... As with the physical test, there are no restrictions. A tried and tested adventure. So, let's see you in act. It's a complex environment, so proceed with caution. Sealy like these are a common sight in the mountains. Returning them to their rightful places is up to you.
Let the show begin.